I love it when you say, I love it when you're moving with me.
Welcome back to Cocktail Creations. My name is Blair, and this is part of our Whiskey School series where we are going to break down cocktails for you to make at home. Today we are going to make a classic whiskey cocktail, the Manhattan. So, what are you going to need? Well, you're going to need a delicious rye whiskey. So traditionally Manhattan is made with rye, and I'm going to be using Milam & Green's port wine cask finished rye, which has some nice berry notes to it, which really play well in the fruity notes of a Manhattan. You are also going to need some type of sweet vermouth. Does not matter what brand, what kind, just whatever you want to use. Just make sure it is sweet, not dry vermouth. For this Manhattan, I'm going to be using a couple bitters, and just to round out the cocktail, you'll want to get some nice cocktail cherries. A Manhattan, sometimes really it's all about the cherries, so go ahead and get you some nice cherries. You deserve it. And then finally for our garnish, we'll be just doing a little bit of an orange peel, so make sure you have a fresh orange available. And then of course, never forget your measuring tool. Step one, we are going to measure out our liquid ingredients. So a Manhattan is a boozier cocktail. I like to think of it as the fun aunt of the cocktail world. And so I'm going to use 2 ounces of this rye whiskey. I'm going to do 1 ounce of sweet vermouth. And honestly, there are some Manhattan purists out there that would say these are the only ingredients you really need to make a true Manhattan. Just add your ice and go from there. I just want to take it up a notch. So I'm going to add 2 dashes of bitters. And normally you could use some simple syrup. You know how to make simple syrup from our previous cocktail tip video. But I'm going to go ahead and use some of the cherry syrup that came with these cherries, because it's delicious and it will play perfectly with our cocktail. And I'm not going to add too much, especially with a fruit syrup. It's perhaps a little sweeter than simple syrup, or at least that's how it plays on the palate. So I'm going to do about 1/4 ounce of the cherry syrup. Okay, now we're going to get some stirring in. I'm going to add my ice. And just like our old fashions, our Sazeracs, our Vieux Carrés, we want to make sure we are not shaking this cocktail. We're going to stir it until the ice is melted. So this is usually about a good 20 seconds. So sing your hand washing song. I'm going to strain from my pint glass into, make sure you get a very classy glass. This is a Manhattan, go upscale. And now we're going to add our garnish. So I'm going to start with the cherry. And you can put as many cherries in there as you want. However, traditionally, 1 is good. And then this is actually a step up for a Manhattan. So for many people, just adding the cherry, that's enough garnish. Go ahead and taste it. It's great. But I like to serve my Manhattans with a bit of orange peel. Once you rub it around the glass, you can just sit it on top there. And cheers. You have made a delicious Manhattan. You have made a delicious Manhattan. Oh man. Woo! Okay, it's gonna be a 2-sipper. What are you gonna do now? Well, I hope that you will subscribe if you haven't already to the Milam & Green channel so that you can get more whiskey school, more cocktail creations. I also hope that if you do make this cocktail, we would love to see it. We would love to hear about it. So go ahead and tag a photo of your Manhattan or any of our cocktail creations and tag Milam & Green and Cocktail Creations, and we would love to celebrate and share with you. Cheers.
I love it when you say, I love it when you're moving with me.